So there's certain things that I think in my younger years, I would try to force my husband to experience with me. And I wanted him to have the same reaction that I had. I wanted him to
Yes.
find that same joy out of whatever those things were. And when he didn't, I felt like, oh, we're not compatible. Oh, he doesn't, and then it started to become a judgment thing. That now
Mm-hmm.
I'm judging his character based on an experience that I wanted him to have that he didn't. And so I love the fact that you said, even if they have a different reaction to the butterfly or the whatever it is, the experience, the fact that they were willing to go on that journey with you speaks loudly. It
It
says, I
does.
love you and I'm here. And again, I see you. I might not
Right.
see the world the same way. I might not get excited about the same experiences, but I see you and I'm here with you. And I
Right.
think that we need to have more gratitude for our spouses, for our partners, for the people that God has placed in our lives when they're willing to go on that journey with us. So, yeah, thank you for sharing that.
Hey YouTube fam, it's Dana Shay here, and this is a very different kind of video, you guys. I have like no makeup on, but I have some pretty nails. So, can we just appreciate these nails? I want you guys to be able to see. Like, can you see them? No. All right, the white paper didn't work. But anyway, I wanted to jump on YouTube because, first of all, it's been a minute since I've done a video. I keep saying I'm going to try to be consistent. I'm going to try to be consistent. And the truth of the matter is, y'all, it's hard being consistent. It's hard being consistent, especially when there's a lot of editing and all of that involved. And I know that some people on YouTube just kind of throw up videos and it works for them. I can't do that. So, this video that I wanted to share tonight or today, depending on when you're watching this, I just interviewed a lady named Joli Hamilton. She's actually a sex educator and therapist. Her name is Dr. Joli Hamilton. And y'all, I think it was one of my favorite episodes that I've ever done on the podcast. I have talked to some pretty amazing people, some New York Times bestsellers, some friends from childhood, some pastors, leaders, friends, entrepreneurs, marriage coaches. I mean, you name it. I've had lots of different people on the podcast. And the reason that I absolutely loved this conversation was because it was like kindred spirits. Like when Jolie and I were talking, there were so many things that she was saying that I was like, I literally say this to my clients all the time. And one of the things that I want to talk about really quickly, and then I'm going to link to a little bit more of the video in our podcast so that you can hear from her directly. But one of the things I want to talk about real quick is this whole notion of compatibility. Like, do you guys think that there is one person out there for you? I think a lot of people think that. I think a lot of people spend a lot of time trying to find the perfect one, trying to find their Boaz, trying to find their special woman or their man or whatever it is. And they end up wasting a lot of time because instead of focusing on the people who are actually right there in their space, they're spending all that time trying to find somebody who's so-called compatible. Now, what I do believe is that you are attracted to a certain type of person, right? Like, have you ever noticed, like, if you are in a relationship and then you break up with that person and then you get in another relationship, there's so many similarities about the second person than there was to the first. And the funny thing is you broke up with the first because you obviously didn't like all that. But what happens is we are creatures of habit. And so we are so married to this idea of trying to find somebody who is gonna complement us, who is going to complete us, who is going to be the yin to our yang. And that thinking, I think, keeps a lot of people stuck. Maybe you're watching right now and you have not been able to find a viable relationship. You're single, or maybe you were married and now you're kind of back at it and you're not really coming up with any good options. Can I encourage you, instead of trying to find somebody who is already compatible with you, listen to this. How about we try something different? How about you start looking for people who have the characteristics, the character traits that you would like in a mate? So that person might be honest, right? So these, if I was dating, these would be kind of like some of my tops. Like the person would have to be trustworthy. They would have to be a believer, but not just a Christian, but they would actually like have to believe. Because there's a lot of Christians who are out here just wiling it up and that don't really believe. So they would have to be a believer. They would have to be someone who actually has a real relationship with the Lord. And that's evident in the way they live. Okay. That is actually number one. Number two, they have to be trustworthy. And trustworthiness is evident in how they are in other relationships. So if you are dating somebody and they lie to their friends, or you hear them call out to their job and they're just like bald-faced lying, right? Or whatever, right? Like, people who are trustworthy are always trustworthy. They're not trustworthy with one group of people and then not trustworthy with another group of people. It doesn't work like that. And so that would be my second trait. My third trait would be they have to be funny. Like, they have to be, I love to laugh, and they can't take themselves so seriously. I don't take myself seriously. They can't take themselves seriously. That'd probably be number three. Number four, they have to be a peaceable person. They don't have to be quiet. They can be like extrovert and loud and things like that, but they have to be a peaceable person, meaning no drama. I don't like drama. You can't like drama either. Okay. And then I can go down through the list of like all the things that I would want in somebody. And the truth of the matter is, I literally have all of those traits in my husband. However, it was not like when we first got together, I saw all of these things and I was like, voila, that husband that I have today had to be nurtured and cultivated. And I had to be nurtured and cultivated and grow and mature. And so what I think happens is a lot of people expect to have like this prepackaged relationship that's like, the same quality as a relationship that some people have invested 10, 15, 20 years in. When you're just starting out, you're not going to have that, you see me, you know me, you understand. Like, that takes time to build. You can't have that with somebody that you've been dating for 2 years or 2 months. You have to be able to build that over time. So I want to show you guys a little clip of this conversation with Joli and I want to encourage you to listen to the whole podcast. I don't upload the full videos on YouTube anymore, and so instead of spending a whole lot of time editing video and all that stuff, you can go listen to the podcast. The link is in the description below. And I want you to listen to this episode because I think it's really important. It's a very important conversation that I think is going to help lots of people to stop wasting time trying to find the one. So I hope you enjoy, and I hope that you will also visit my website, realrelationshiptalk.com. You can find all of my podcast episodes there. You can also find more information about me and my coaching services. I have heard and met so many of you from YouTube that have set up a discovery call with me, and I've gotten clients, right here from YouTube, which is so amazing. So I just wanted to share that nugget with you. Let's take a look at this conversation between Dr. Joli Hamilton and I.
That's right. Let me just ask you off the top, Joli, do you believe that there is like a special person out there for all of us?
Oh, that is a great question, Dana. It really is. Okay. My short answer is I believe there are special people out there for you. My longer answer is that when those people appear in your life, that doesn't mean that you are necessarily called to have a relationship with them right then. And it doesn't mean that if you are called to have a relationship, they'll be available. So I like to think of this concept of soulmates as a broader concept. I mean, I have a best friend who's definitely a soulmate. I need to be in her life. But we're not partners in that romantic way. And I think of romantic partnership the same way. There might be a special someone who really you're destined to be with, but it might not happen when you think. And, I actually have a tattoo on my arm. This speaks to that exact thing. So it's just funny that you asked that. I look down at my arm and I'm like,
What's your tattoo? Like, you have to tell us more about that.
Okay, my tattoo, it's in Elvish, and it says Kenneth, my soul's home, in Tolkien's Elvish language. I wrote that on my arm because I truly believe that my husband is a person who I came here to be with and to learn something with. Absolutely. And you bring up a great point about compatibility. I think that if we imagine that there is an amount of compatibility that has to just be present, and it's sort of magical, it's external to us, and we're just looking for the clues to see, do they check off all the boxes? We're forgetting that we create our compatibility. Yeah. We decide. My partner and I are super different. My best friend and I, super, super different. It's the language that we use around that. Like my partner and I heard you say it, we're really, really different. That's great. How
Mhm.
boring would it be if you were exactly the same, right?
Exactly.
So you can make your own compatibility if you decide that it's okay to be different.